So let me ask you this. And I bet, I don't know, I would guess maybe 90% of Browns fans would make Baker the first pick in a draft like this. And the issue with the Browns is they actually have some decent depth as well. So even if you look at some of the offensive line spots, obviously running back, they have a bunch of tight ends. They go 6 deep at receiver, right? Like Mary Kay, like as good as the starters are for this team, there's also sort of a growing depth here, which, by the way, is what good teams do. So if there wasn't some decent depth at some other spots, I think it might lessen. If there wasn't depth, you might say, well, I trust Case Keenum, at least to some degree. I'm going to go somewhere where I don't trust the backup. How much, and this is like great way to start the podcast, Doug. And here's Doug arguing like they don't need Baker Mayfield. That's not what I'm arguing. Could they, if the worst thing happened, and I never like to talk about injuries. So Baker Mayfield, I always say Baker Mayfield's abducted by aliens. Mm-hmm. Could this be a good team with Case Keenum? Could this be a good offense? Could it be a winning team? Certainly our Super Bowl-like expectations would be adjusted. But how close to peak do you think they could be with Case Keenum?
Well, there's evidence. There's recent evidence that they can win football games with Case Keenum. All you have to do is go back a couple of years to Minnesota and see that he went 11-3 for the Vikings, took them to the NFC Championship game. He knows this offense like the back of his hand. I watch him in practice a lot. The ball still comes out really well with him. He is very well versed in all things Kevin Stefanski offense. And I think that they could withstand the loss of Baker Mayfield and still maintain their Super Bowl aspirations, believe it or not. It would not be as easy. It would not be ideal. You might not necessarily pick them to win the Super Bowl, but I think that it wouldn't crush or kill their hopes of trying to get there. I think there is a player on this football team where you could kind of say, oh, if they lose that player, it's not happening. But I don't necessarily think that player is Baker Mayfield because of Case Keenum. Now, if Kyle Lauletta was behind him, I wouldn't feel that way at all. But it is Case, and he knows what he's doing.
It's a very interesting thing in the NFL these days, where on one hand, I think we all feel like fans, media, teams themselves feel like if you don't have a dude at quarterback, you're probably not going to get it done. But yet, if you really are a complete team, and I think Case Keenum is practically the poster boy for NFL backup quarterbacks, right? It is like a veteran who has done it, who you would not want to go into a season where you think you're going to win a Super Bowl planning on him as your starting quarterback. If he's your one, you're short. But if he's your two and you have smart coaching and good players around him on both sides of the ball, you still think you can win. It almost feels like a little bit of a disconnect to me, Mary Kay, that it's like, well, you have to have a great quarterback, but yet if your team's good enough, you can maybe survive with your backup quarterback. But that's where I think the Browns are, right? That I think that they're relying on Baker to be a top 10 quarterback while believing if the worst thing happened, their season wouldn't be over, right? Their season, if the aliens came in week 2, Browns fans would not pack it up and go home because of what you said about Case Keenum.
Yeah. And the evidence is there. So it's not like, we're just plucking this out of thin air and thinking, oh yeah, maybe he could win some games. He's proven that he can do that in this system. And if you really truly understand this system, we've seen Brian Hoyer succeed in it. It's the Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak system. It's quarterback friendly. It brings out the best in a quarterback. It gives you so many options. And Case knows it like the back of his hand, so much so that he has really helped Baker Mayfield implement it and get up to speed in it. He has helped coach him up a little bit and mentor him in this offense. So I absolutely think that they would be okay because, as you said, this team is built. It's built tough all the way across the board. It's strong and deep at almost every single position on this football team. And therefore, the quarterback is not going to make or break you. Where it might hurt you is if you do get to the AFC Championship game or if you do get to the Super Bowl, that's where you need that quarterback that can get you over the top to win that tough game against another amazing elite quarterback, okay? You can win a bunch of games in this offense with a Case Keenum. The question is, who can get you over the top through the AFC Championship game, perhaps past Patrick Mahomes, past a Josh Allen or whoever else is going to be there, and into the Super Bowl, and then try to beat a Tom Brady. That's where the quarterback would come in.